Tonight, townhouse fire.
It looked pretty bad, though. From our window, it looked very bad.
The inferno that ripped through a row of homes in Kitchener overnight. Cut off.
It's only getting hotter. People have pets, children. There's elderly people with medical devices that require power.
The RV park residents who say they've been left with no electricity. An explanation for stopping a teen's speech.
My actions were not about silencing anyone, but of refocusing.
The mayor of Cambridge shares her own version of events about a pride ceremony that took an unexpected turn. Good evening. We begin with an unsettling scene, shattering a calm spring night in a Kitchener neighborhood. A large fire ripping through multiple townhomes in the Huron Park area. Today, the damage is more clear, and so is the impact on the residents of that neighborhood. CTV's Colton Weens filed this report from the scene on Tudor Street.
A fire broke out in one of these townhomes along Tudor Street here in Kitchener just after 11 on Thursday night. No one was hurt in the fire and the homes were evacuated. Investigators are now looking into what caused it. A dramatic scene on Tudor Street in Kitchener Thursday night.
There was visible flames coming through the roof, quite a bit of smoke, and the crews acted quickly and were able to suppress the fire. The two interior units sustained the most fire damage.
Fire officials say a block of 4 homes had extensive damage, and the cost to rebuild and repair will likely exceed $1 million.
It's kind of a bit blank, because it's kind of out of imagination, right? But luckily, we were safe and good, so that's the main thing.
Chirag Swami lives in one of the interior units on the block and says he was in bed when he heard firefighters banging on his front door and rushed outside to safety.
Because I was in my night shoot, even I didn't have pants on, so.
I'm honestly shocked because I've never seen something like this in my life, and first time seeing something like this, especially something so close to home, it's pretty terrifying.
It looked pretty bad, though. From our window, it looked very bad.
No one was hurt, and investigators are still trying to determine what happened.
The investigators are currently in the garage of one of the interior units at this time to investigate the origin and cause. Part of the investigation will be investigating if the units had working smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. I just want to remind the public to ensure that they're testing their smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms, that they're operational and functional, that these are life-saving devices and they need to be maintained.
The Ontario Fire Marshal was contacted, but they will not be investigating. Officials don't believe the fire was deliberately set. On Friday, neighbors gathered to help clean up the mess.
Just got to be a good Samaritan for the neighborhood and try and clean up as best as I can. I mean, I was supposed to go to work today, but a whole entire driveway covered in ashes and all the trucks, all the cars, I couldn't do it.
And while the fire was mostly contained to the block, Swami says his home was destroyed by the water and smoke.
When we went inside, it was all drowning, ceiling is torn apart. We can't even believe that's our house.
And residents from the affected townhomes were displaced by the fire. The city says they are working to find them temporary housing. Colton Weens, CTV News, Kitchener.
Okay, time for a first look at the weather. Ashley Bacon is in studio with us on this Friday afternoon. We knew there was going to be sort of a time of day today where things started to turn. I was out just a little while ago and noticed those dark clouds are building.
That's right, Tony. I think a lot of people might even feel the pressure that's in the air. It's about to erupt, but the good news is we really do need some rain, and the temperatures are going to remain warm. So although the wet stuff is on the way, it will still be very comfortable out there. We are expecting rain to start falling in Waterloo region pretty much any time now over the next few hours. We will start to see it and then get consistently through over the overnight hours. We could even see a thunderstorm pop up here and there. But as we take a look at our radar, this is the system we're talking about. It's already pushing through north of us, just around Wyerton, southern Georgian Bay there. And we are going to see that continue to move through the overnight hours. The good news is we're not expecting it to last all weekend, but right now in Waterloo region, 28 degrees out there, a south by south wind at 24 kilometers an hour. And let's take a quick look at our boards here, we are seeing very, very warm conditions still throughout southern Ontario. And Tony, those warm conditions are expected to last into next week. But I'll have those details with your full forecast coming up.
Okay, we'll talk to you about that shortly. Thanks, Ash. And as the hottest days of the year set in, people at an RV park just outside Guelph are speaking out. They've had no electricity this week, no lights, no way to cool down, and really no luck getting answers about it all. It's a problem that they say is tied to unpaid bills. CTV's Spencer Turcotte back now from Maple Grove RV Park in Guelph, Aramasa. Spencer, residents telling you they're getting worried.
And that's because there's no timeline for when they could get power back. Some have generators to act as a temporary fix, but that's the problem. Residents say it's only temporary.
It's good that you have the coolers there, at least you have.
Yeah.
Everyone is trying to keep their cool after hydro was cut off this week at Maple Grove RV Park.
This would be the third day.
It comes amid a stretch of really hot days.
And it's only getting hotter. People have pets, children. There's elderly people with medical devices that require power that are not having those essential services provided to them. We've been trying to just run it a couple hours in the morning to charge up the battery and charge up devices.
More than 40 tenants live on site, so the lucky few that have generators have been trying to share their resources, which can be costly.
A lot of the people that live in the park are on social assistance and stuff like that. They don't have money to be spending on gasoline for generators.
But why are residents having to do this in the first place? We asked the RV park's property manager.
Hydro's been shut off for non-payment of the bill.
Dave Groves says this stems from a larger issue dating back years. He, along with other residents, tell us there have been ongoing sewage issues on the property which have not been resolved. As a result, some tenants have refused to pay rent.
There's 8 units in this park that owe over $18,000 in rent. Right now, rental arrears, and this is going to be a lowball number, we're looking at $150,000.
Here's where things get even trickier. Dave lives on site and is among the residents without power. But as a manager, he is in a sticky situation too, because he says he's also trying to get the landlord of the property, who lives in England, to pay the outstanding hydro bills.
How do you pay bills with no money?
CTV News reached out to the landlord about hydro being shut off and whether there are any plans to pay up. We did not receive a response in time for air, and when we asked the property manager about when this could all be resolved,
right now, I can't answer that. I don't know. What I'd like to see right now is this park seized by the government.
But having the park taken away is the last thing 80-year-old Roger Visser Vanderbilt wants after calling the place home for 12 years. He was peeking through the window of his camper when he saw Hydro One pull the plug.
I put the lights on in my own camper, and when he pulled the switch, my light went off.
He has a message for the residents who he says have not paid rent.
This is how life goes. You have freedom, but the price for freedom is responsibility.
But until someone takes responsibility, everyone here will be left in the dark.
And we've been in touch with Hydro One about this report of an unpaid hydro bill. But since the park is on private land and under a private hydro account, the company's hands are tied in terms of what they'll tell us about any possible debt. So, Tony, still lots of uncertainty ahead.
Let's hope those residents get some answers. Okay, Spencer, thank you. CTV's Spencer Turcotte with that report. In Guelph, 8 people have been displaced after a fire ripped through an apartment unit yesterday afternoon. Crews from 5 stations were called to the Willow Road building just before 5:30 p.m. They arrived to find flames and heavy smoke coming from a 3rd-floor apartment. The blaze was contained to the unit and its balcony, and no injuries reported. 2 other units got water damage. The cause of the fire is unclear, but the Guelph Fire Department is investigating. Firefighters in parts of southern Ontario are urging caution in the midst of a dry spell that's lasted more than a week. Their message, keep an eye on changing conditions if you plan to have a fire this weekend. CTV's Brian Bicknell reports.
This is what it looks like in northern Ontario as wildfires have forced evacuations of communities near Timmins. While it may seem out of reach, Strathroy-Caradoc Fire Prevention Officer Jason Chabot says it could easily happen in southern Ontario.
When there's been no moisture, it's very dry. The ground is hard.
According to the Canadian Wildfire Information System, much of southern Ontario is now in the extreme category for fire danger.
With recent developments in the weather and it being so dry, they're probably going to be seeing a burn ban here shortly.
Chabot says this means anyone planning a backyard or campfire should take caution and heed local fire bans.
So if you are having that fire and it is allowed, you want to make sure that you have a way to extinguish that fire with you. You want to make sure you're always watching that fire. The fire is small and contained inside of a pit of some description. If you're starting a fresh fire on a surface at a campsite, you want to make sure it's scraped down to the basic raw ground earth.
He says the same goes for controlled fires at farms. Just days ago, crews found themselves fighting this field fire near Appin.
A field fire will run hundreds of acres very quickly and it gets out of control in seconds because the dryness just allows that fire to continue to go. A lot of times it is an uncontrolled burn, or someone has a recreational burn that hasn't been properly extinguished, or they've turned their back and the wind's picked up an ash and an amber and moved it into a field.
While each municipality has specific burn rules, in many areas only certain materials such as grass, leaves, wood and brush can be burned without a permit. Brian Bicknell, CTV News, Strathroy-Caradoc.
Now to Owen Sound, where 3 men have pleaded guilty for their roles in a deadly attack on a local restaurant owner 3 years ago. It took more than a year for police to find the men responsible. They had fled the country back to Scotland. We have more now from CTV's Mike Arcelides.
Robert Evans Jr., his father Robert Sr., and uncle Barry Evans have pleaded guilty to manslaughter and being accessories after the fact in the killing of Sharif Rahman on the night of August 17, 2023, when the Owen Sound restaurant owner was punched while trying to stop Evans Jr. from skipping out on a bill. Evans Jr. was 23 at the time and in Ontario paving driveways with his father and uncle. His uncle was with Evans Jr. that night when the group racked up a $100 dinner bill and tried to run without paying. Rahman, the court heard, confronted and pushed Evans Jr., who admitted to then punching Rahman outside his restaurant. The single punch knocked Rahman down with his head striking the sidewalk. Rahman died in hospital days later from a fractured skull and brain bleed. He is survived by his wife and young daughter. As part of an agreed statement of facts read by the Crown, the court heard Evans Jr. was helped by his uncle to flee. Barry Evans admitted to then returning to their motel in town, erasing any trace they were staying in the area. The court heard the men reached out to Evans Sr. to buy a plane ticket back to the UK for his son the next day. The plea deal, which included a joint submission from the Crown and Defence of 21 months, put Evans Sr. and his brother in a time-served position, meaning they already served their sentence and now await deportation to the UK. Their lawyers read letters to the court on behalf of their clients apologizing for their actions, calling what happened to Rahman a nightmare they will have to live with for the rest of their lives. The court heard the plea deal was reached after considering all the evidence, noting triable issues that included whether Evans Jr. killed Rahman in self-defense. Both sides asking the judge to consider sentencing Robert Evans Jr. to 42 months behind bars, less time served in pre-sentence custody, leaving him with about 8 more months before he too is deported. Evans Jr. personally read his letter to the court, calling Rahman a good, respected family man. This never should have happened. I didn't mean for him to die. I am sickened by the damage I have caused. I pray every day for his family. I understand if I am never forgiven. I am truly, truly sorry. Evans Jr. is scheduled to be sentenced in early July. Mike Arcelides, CTV News, Owen Sound.
Well, dozens of people are facing charges tonight after Durham Regional Police launched a crackdown on criminal tourism. Dubbed Project Jet Setter, the operation was aimed at those who came to the region just to commit criminal offenses. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
You're looking at a group of men and women Durham Regional Police are calling criminal tourists.
These individuals are entering Canada legally as tourists, using that status to move freely between communities and jurisdictions. Once here, they engage in organized, profit-driven criminal activity.
In total, 46 people are facing close to 1,500 charges, and another 164 arrest warrants have been issued in what police have dubbed Project Jet Setter.
We are seeing the same concerning patterns: large-scale retail thefts, vehicle and financing frauds, staged collisions, distraction-style thefts, and exportation of vehicles and goods.
Some repeat offenses include the dirty oil scam, which CTV News has previously reported on,
where suspects contact individuals selling their vehicle and deliberately damage their vehicle during the test drive or viewing to negotiate a lower price.
Jewelry distraction thefts are also soaring.
These thefts are up 268% compared to this time last year, increasing to 125 incidents and 34 from last year.
Police say the majority of suspects come from Romania, although a small portion come from India, and they travel from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. And that means these crimes are not restricted to Durham region, but extend across Canada. And given we're expecting a massive influx of visitors this summer, police are issuing this warning.
As we approach the summer months and prepare to welcome hundreds of thousands of visitors for the FIFA World Cup in Toronto and across the GTA, we are encouraging the public to remain vigilant. If you see suspicious activity, please report it to your local police.
Investigators say seniors have been the hardest hit. So far, police have confirmed more than $2.6 million in financial losses. Janice Golding, CTV News.
No longer an elected position. Just ahead, we will hear from Waterloo Region's current government chair about the province's changes to the region's top political job.
Well, much needed rain is on the way, but will the full weekend be a washout? I'll have those details with your full forecasts coming up in the show. Stay with us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
We're learning more about the process to select the next chair of Waterloo Region's government. The province changed the role from an elected position to an appointed one earlier this year, ahead of the October municipal vote. CTV's Krista Simpson has details.
While many would-be politicians will spend the next several months pounding the pavement, campaigning, Waterloo Region's top political position, regional chair, will be named sometime after the October 26th municipal election. Rob Flack, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, said at a press conference earlier this week.
No, we will not be appointing them before the next municipal election. We're going to wait until after or close or there and abouts to appoint them, so there's a one appointment process for all 8 at once.
The 8 impacted 2-tier governments are York, Peel, Durham, Halton, Niagara, Muskoka, Simcoe County, which has a warden instead of a chair, and Waterloo Region, replacing a patchwork system where some chairs were elected directly by voters and others appointed. The new regional chairs will also be granted strong chair powers. So, like strong mayors, they can pass bylaws with the support of just 1/3 of council. Flack says the province is taking applications for the roles from qualified individuals.
People that are interested in serving as regional chairs are welcome to apply for the job. There will be a criteria set out, such as having elected experience in the region that you're going to serve, having leadership skills, learn to facilitate, an ability to facilitate. So there'll be a set of criteria, not too onerous.
Flack says the province is already hearing interest from people in all 8 regions.
We have our time to do our due diligence, listen, learn, interview, and choose the right candidate, the best candidate to help lead these regions.
In Waterloo Region, Karen Redman is nearing the end of her 2nd term as chair, elected in 2018 and again in 2022.
I had every intention of running again, and with that announcement, I now don't have to knock on doors. I'm going to concentrate on all the things that the region needs to accomplish between now and the election.
Redman, however, did not want to say if she had or will express interest to the province to remain regional chair, or if she would take the role again if it was offered to her.
I'm just going to show up every day and do the work that I was elected to do in 2022.
Krista Simpson, CTV News, Kitchener.
The mayor of Cambridge says she is looking for understanding after an incident at the city's Pride event on Monday. Today, Jan Liggett released a 10-minute recorded statement about why she interrupted a speaker who was asked to address the audience about issues facing queer youth in the community. CTV's Jeff Pickle has more.
It was supposed to be a day of pride and celebration for the city of Cambridge.
My name is Sophie Mills. I am a non-binary 17-year-old who's in grade 11.
But when Cambridge teen Sophie Mills brought up a sensitive subject, Mayor Liggett reacted.
I have faced transphobia and bullying from my peers in school and from adults outside of school. Like when Ward 6 Councillor Adam Cooper shared a transphobic meme. He did not apologize, nor was...
Okay, I'm not going to allow you to continue this disrespect. No. No, can you remove that part from your speech? Because he's already gone through what he needs to go through. I don't think it's helpful. I really don't.
Mills is among others in the community still looking for an apology from City Councillor Adam Cooper after he shared a transphobic meme online. According to Mills, the mayor's actions are a clear example of censorship.
They asked me to share what I would like to be done about the community. And when I told them, and when I said something that they did not want me to say, they silenced me, they censored me.
Today, in a video statement, Mayor Jan Liggett attempting to explain the situation. She says Mills was asked to give a speech approved by the city, but the teen went off script.
If they had spoken to the staff person in charge and said their intent was to no longer read the intended speech, then the staff person would have worked with them and all of this could have been avoided.
According to Liggett, it was her duty as the mayor to step in.
Allowing personal attacks on individuals by looking the other way are not consistent with my responsibilities.
Additionally, the mayor rejects accusations of censorship.
My actions were not about silencing anyone, but of refocusing. They were about protecting the integrity of an event that was intended to unite rather than divide.
According to Mills, the mayor's attempt to protect an event came at their cost.
Not only did it kind of hurt my ego, because this was my first big public speaking opportunity, but it was a direct experience that I now have of being discriminated against by elected authorities.
In her recorded speech, the mayor says it's time to move on from the Cooper incident.
We must reject the notion that perpetual unhealthy conflict is the path forward. We must be willing to listen, to forgive, to learn.
But some in the community say it's the mayor who is not listening.
Trying to pretend that that problem has been dealt with when it hasn't. You've had a lot of examples over this past year in which there has been harm done to our community. So we need some transparency here. What has been done?
In a statement, Cambridge City Councillor and mayoral candidate Scott Hamilton said, "This should never have happened. I strongly condemn the actions taken by Mayor Liggett during the pride flag raising ceremony." Adding, a healthy community is not built on everyone agreeing. It's built on people knowing they can share their experiences and be treated with dignity even when others see the world differently. We reached out to Mayor Liggett for an interview after the incident and again today, but we're told it was not possible. Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Cambridge.
Okay, we are looking live outside right now. I'm not quite sure where this is, but it's a good bet that no matter where you are in Waterloo region, you are seeing this type of sky this evening. Clouds are building. It's getting a lot darker outside. The air pressure is certainly changing, and we are expecting some rain. Ashley's back with our forecast in just a few minutes. Also coming up, no relief. Diesel prices proving stubbornly different than other types of fuel lately. And next, the new payment meant to help with these tough economic times. All right, Ashley's back to fill us in on the forecast. As far as our purposes go, outdoor segments, outdoor live hits this week, the weather has cooperated
Oh, yes.
all week long.
No complaints from me.
None at all. Evenings have been gorgeous.
It's been a perfect week because the humidity, I can't stress it enough. Not having the humidity when these high temperatures are around, the sun is shining, has been the difference.
But the pressure's changing.
Oh, yeah.
The dark clouds are moving in.
Yes.
We knew, you told us this was going to be on the way today, and now it's on our doorstep.
Nearly minutes away. Let's take another look live outside from Waterloo Park this afternoon and check out that sky, Tony. It is definitely gray.
Oh, yeah.
A little lighter there than here on this side of the city near the Sports World Drive area where our studios are. But depending on where you are throughout the region, you could start seeing drops fall within the next hour or so. We are expecting rain to continue throughout the overnight hours and into your Saturday. And the good news is the whole weekend won't be a washout, but we are in for it at least for the next 24 hours. This is what we're seeing right now on our Futurecast. That system is slowly bringing in the rain. Now, we could see some isolated thunderstorms throughout the overnight hours tomorrow morning and even tomorrow afternoon. We've had such hot weather over the last few days. We need a little bit of rain throughout the region, and I'm sure our local farmers will be thrilled to see that some is on the way. We are going to get pretty much clear skies throughout the afternoon Sunday rather, but we could start seeing some cloud cover move in Sunday overnight. Now, as we look to what's happening right now across the country, it's definitely a cooler day across the West Coast, 13 degrees in Vancouver, Prince George, as well as on the other side of the Rockies in Edmonton, which is seeing quite a bit of rain as well this hour. Moving towards the prairie provinces, a bit warmer, a bit sunnier there. 22 in Saskatoon, 23 in Thompson, 21 in Winnipeg with a mix of sun and cloud. And as we push further east towards our nation's capital, 28 in Ottawa, 26 in Montreal, and still sitting comfortably in Thunder Bay at 18 degrees. So not too bad. And further east towards St. John's, a cooler day there today. 3 degrees with the mostly sunny conditions. Fredericton seeing 22, Charlottetown 12 with a mix of sun and cloud. So good range across the country rather, but here in southern Ontario, it is still hot. 26 degrees in Waterloo region, London, 27 in Hamilton, Windsor, Goderich a little cooler along the lakeshore there at 16. Overnight, we are expected to dip down to around 16 degrees, so it's still going to be a very warm night out there with the risk of a thunderstorm. A southwest wind at 30 kilometers an hour is also expected. Now, tomorrow, temperatures are going to rise still above seasonal, but not nearly as hot as we have felt over the last couple of days. 24 is our expected daytime high with a westerly wind of 30 kilometers an hour. And just to point out on our almanac, normal for this time of year is 23 daytime high, 11 as an overnight low. So we are sitting pretty just above normal for now, but not nearly record breaking, which I think everyone is quite okay with where we're at. Still quite beautiful out there. And so we take a look at our 7-day forecast for the region. By Sunday, things go back to beautiful. 26 and sunny expected for both Sunday and Monday. And then the rest of the week, that's where things start to really heat up. We could be in for our first heat event of the year. So we'll be keeping an eye on that through the weekend and as we start next week. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, you're in for a really hot week ahead. 30 tomorrow with a risk of thunderstorms, sunny and 27 for Sunday, mix of sun and cloud for Monday, and then things really crank up. 30 degrees for Tuesday, 31 on Wednesday, and potentially up to 34 for Thursday and Friday. That is when we might see a little bit of humidity come into play. And lastly, in southern Georgian Bay, not as warm there, but still very nice. 16 and showers for Saturday, and then quite a nice Sunday. 24 and sunny, 30 and sunny on Monday, so not too bad. Okay, let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher picture sent in from Corey. He sent it this afternoon of the Kissing Bridge Trail near West Montrose. It looks like a perfect place for a walk on a hot day. Lots of natural sun protection from the trees.
I'll tell you, the Kissing Bridge Trail is incredible for its shade canopy, just like you said.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the best natural features in the area if you want to get some shade but enjoy the outdoors in the summer.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful shot. Thank you for sharing and sending in this afternoon.
And wait, 34 in some places next week. Does
Closer
that mean
to Windsor,
does
yes.
that mean we could be pushing like upper 30 humidity, humidex levels?
Potentially.
Wow.
So I was speaking with Environment Canada earlier today, Rob Kuhn, and he was mentioning that we could see our first heat event of the year next week. So not quite there yet with the forecasting. It's a little early, but it's something something that they're keeping an eye on. So
I guess we're due.
We are due.
It's about time. Thanks, Ash.
Thank you.
Well, some financial relief today arrived for millions of Canadians in the form of a one-time GST top-up payment. The federal government's new Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit was sent directly to those who were eligible. It's worth up to more than $500 for families. CTV's Heather Wright has more on who qualifies and what it means for your wallet.
Peppers, tomatoes, and lettuce are just some of what Sylvie Gagne grows in her backyard. Fresh produce that takes some pressure off her grocery bill.
It's nice to have fresh stuff and just go in the backyard and get it.
According to a report from TD Bank, grocery prices are roughly 30% higher today than they were in 2019. To address the soaring costs, the federal government unveiled the Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit back in January. It's essentially a revamped version of the GST HST credit, with the addition of a one-time top-up payment that began going out today.
It's a significant amount of money, checks up to $533 today for a family of 4.
The program also includes quarterly payments, which Ottawa is boosting by 25% over the next 5 years, aimed at helping lower-income families keep up with rising costs. Who qualifies and how much they might receive all depends on individual or household income. But a single individual could receive a maximum of $679. A married couple could receive up to $890, while a family could receive up to $234 more per eligible child.
I think that the top-up is a really positive sign that the government is thinking seriously about how grocery affordability is impacting Canadians. But there's a lot more that we can be doing.
Michael Widener is a planning professor at the University of Toronto. Among the things he wants to see changed is where Canada gets the bulk of its food from, especially given our reliance on the United States.
We need to think more strategically about where that food is going to come from in the future and what we can grow here in Canada.
And if you qualify for this benefit, there's nothing you need to do. If you're registered for direct deposit, the funds will be put into your account. If not, a check will be mailed to your home. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
And some recent gas price relief is also being offset by bad news. Diesel fuel prices continue to climb, not just in eastern Canada, but in many parts of the country. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has more on the continued pain being felt at the pumps.
Kevin Nickerson says he's paying too much for fuel, and not just when he fills up his truck.
Hot water even, so all summer we're burning. So the price of home oil and everything.
According to fuel analyst Dan McTagg, the war with Iran continues to put a pinch on diesel markets, causing supply and demand pressures.
It means that diesel, which is the global workhorse for all fuel, is going to remain high.
This tourism executive says the season is off to a good start, but he's bracing for the possible long-term effects of rising jet fuel costs being passed on to travelers.
That would, in time, potentially discourage people from wanting to continue to travel here.
As food gets shipped across Canada, diesel prices are being absorbed by trucking companies and grocery stores, resulting in some food becoming more expensive.
Diesel is impacting the P&P at the grocery store, protein and produce.
Shopper Noriko Ewing says she has no choice but to pay more for the groceries her family needs.
So we need it, so we buy it, even expensive.
According to Sylvain Charlebois, the cost of food being impacted by diesel prices varies across the country. Some remote areas like the prairies or here in the Maritimes are being hit with bigger price increases compared to other places. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
And we have an updated story on Canada's job market. Just ahead, the latest unemployment numbers out today and what they are telling us about the state of the economy. Well, some positive news to share on the job front today. Canada added 88,000 new jobs last month, beating expectations. The overall unemployment rate also fell. It now sits at 6.6%. CTV's Jeremy Sharon now with a closer look at the numbers and what they're telling us.
Fresh baked goods rising in demand. In this Ottawa bakery just months after laying someone off, Jordan Pett is hiring again.
Looking to, grow our menu and keep it steadily growing, and hopefully grow our team more as well.
According to Statistics Canada, the country's economy added 88,000 jobs in May, driving unemployment down 0.3% to 6.6%, outperforming forecasters' predictions.
The numbers today were strong enough to reverse most of the losses that brewed in the data to start the year.
Full-time employment drove the gains, while part-time jobs took a drop. Unemployment among youth is down 0.9%, but still above 13%.
Because we deal with thousands of businesses, to place youth into businesses, we saw optimism, and thankfully the numbers have proven that out today.
Specifically, students are off to a better summer job season than last year, which was the worst in nearly a decade.
Part of that fall in the unemployment rate is a fall in youth participation. And it's not exactly clear why fewer youth are participating in the labor force.
The data comes on the heels of a GDP report from the same department last week that showed Canada has entered a technical recession, which the Conservative Party remained focused on today.
It's very clear in the numbers that we're in recession. What we're seeing in the job numbers is that we're significantly worse off than the pre-pandemic averages.
While the government says Canada's economy is moving in the right direction.
The numbers that you saw this morning on employment shows that the Canadian economy is resilient.
While economists are calling today's report a positive signal, they say it is too early to tell whether Canada's economy will continue on this positive path. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Time to recap our top stories on this Friday. Alexandra Hollick is back in studio with us tonight. We're watching that investigation into a major fire in Kitchener overnight.
That's right, Tony. The fire ripped through several townhomes on Tudor Street just after 11 o'clock last night. No one was hurt and all of the homes were evacuated. Now investigators are trying to figure out how the fire started, though they don't believe it was set intentionally. Damage costs are estimated to be more than $1 million. Residents at an RV park outside of Guelph are speaking out after spending some of the warmest days so far this year without electricity. The park's hydro was cut off because of unpaid bills. The property manager says the issue is tied to another problem involving the sewage system that has left some tenants refusing to pay rent. Hydro One says its hands are tied because the park is on private land and under a private hydro account.
And looking at what our digital team is working on, Alexander, we have details about an investigation into a voyeurism situation at the University of Waterloo.
That's right, Tony. Regional police say it was reported on May 26th. The woman says she was being followed by a man who also appeared to be taking photos of her. Police are looking to speak with the man in these photos. You can find out more information by scanning the QR code and downloading the CTV News app, or by heading to our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
Okay, Alexandra Hollick live in studio. We will see you again at the end of the show. Thank you. It's National Donut Day. This is celebrated on the first Friday in June to honor the Salvation Army donut lassies who served baked treats to soldiers during the First World War. Our friends at the Salvation Army Kitchener branch stopped by our studios this afternoon to bring us some donuts. It was one of many stops they made, dropping off the treats to their community partners as they shared the story about this decades-old tradition. The final preparations to welcome the world. Just ahead, from traffic to transit, Toronto puts the finishing touches on its World Cup plan. With the kickoff to the World Cup in Toronto just a week away, today city officials detailed their final preparations. From traffic to transit, the stadium to safety, months of planning and preparation. Officials now say Toronto's ready to welcome the world. Here's CTV's Sean Leathong.
The city has been preparing for soccer to take over. And with just 1 week to go, the question is the city ready?
Yeah, I think it's really ready. It has all the vibes. We're ready. I've seen some little sneak peeks of the city. I think we're ready enough.
And while these young players show confidence on the pitch, today the city did the same.
Toronto Stadium is ready.
As they outline their plan to help fans get to and from the stadium and FIFA Fan Fest at Fort York, asking fans to plan ahead, check entry requirements at both the stadium and Fan Fest, and reminding fans to arrive as early as 3 hours before the start for entertainment and giveaways.
Our plan addresses the downtown, what we call the last mile.
Anyone heading down to one of the 6 matches at Toronto Stadium or FIFA Fan Fest are being told to use transit, walk, or cycle, as there's no parking on site and Uber Lyft will be in a designated drop-off location. And even if you're not attending a FIFA event, there will be road restrictions in the area.
On match days, some neighborhoods, like Liberty Village and Fort York, will be limited to local access only.
And while Toronto prepares to host fans from around the world, on the ground they can expect a large police presence.
This is the longest operational period with the largest deployment of members in the Toronto Police Service's history.
With thousands of officers deployed from Toronto and neighboring regions like Peel, York, Durham, Ottawa, the OPP, and the RCMP. Back on the pitch with only a week to wait, the excitement level is
Probably a 10. I'd say 10 out of 10.
And as fans, their allegiance differs. Who are you cheering for?
Canada and Scotland. Canada. Portugal and Canada. I'm cheering for Spain and Turkey. I want Portugal to win.
What about Canada?
Canada, yeah, they got a pretty good squad. I think they'll make it good in this tournament, but again, we can't have expectations too high.
As the World Cup runs for a lengthy 5.5 weeks, from June 11th until July 19th. That report from CTV's Sean Leathong. And Ash, I would say some great analysis from those little soccer players.
Tony, I think they're coming for our jobs in a couple of years. They was our great clips, Sean. Oh my goodness. As for weather, look, we're in for a little bit of rain. Details on just when it'll hit us tomorrow morning I'll have after this break. Start your night off with E-Talk at 7, followed by The Big Bang Theory. Then Spring Break Murders at 8, Crime Scene Investigators at 9, and cap your Friday night off with Boston Blue at 10.
Tonight, a one-time grocery top-up hits millions of bank accounts.
I have a big family and our grocery bill is, big.
Who gets the benefit and how much it will really help? Later on CTV National News and Watch on Crave.
KW's Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Listen all summer for your chance to win. Turn the lights off, carry me home. With Bounce to your backyard.
Okay, remember I was all excited about the new Bounce promo with the songs?
Oh, I remember.
And I kept yapping over it so I couldn't hear the first one?
Yes.
It's Def Leppard.
There you go.
And by the way, thank you to Ross Bechtel for writing to tell me that because he heard us chatting about it the other night.
That's amazing. Thank you for letting Tony know. He's a music trivia guy.
So we've got Def Leppard,
Yep.
we've got TLC, and we've got Blink in the same promo there. Yeah, I'm a music trivia guy, but that didn't help us last night.
Oh.
We were one Demi Lovato song away from winning, and it was because of me.
I'm sorry to hear that, Tony.
Alexandra Hollick, get us out of this situation, please. What's coming up tonight at 11:30 on CTV News?
Well, Tony, the Women's Flat Track Derby Association is holding its North America playoffs right here in Waterloo Region this weekend. The 3-day tournament is hosted by Tri-City Roller Derby and will see hundreds of skaters, officials, volunteers, and fans flooding the Waterloo Memorial Rec Complex. We'll have the highlights of day one and more local news later at 11:30. Tony.
Sounds great. Alexandra, thank you so much. Appreciate that. I will say, though, that I got Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts.
Yes.
An old song. No one else at my table knew it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You're the winner in my heart, Tony.
Well, thank you. But this is not about me. This is about the forecast, and it's about to rain on our parade.
It is going to rain very soon, if not already happening in lots of places. But tomorrow morning, we could see a risk of a thunder shower around 8 a.m. Things might give us a little break around 10 a.m., but don't let that fool you. We should see another round of the wet stuff come through the afternoon. So definitely have your umbrellas handy tomorrow, but at least it's going to remain relatively pleasant temperature-wise.
And it's going to move on, which is kind of nice, too.
By dinner hour, we should be pretty
Not
clear.
a multi-day thing.
No.
Well, finally for us, this is a lot of fun. One of our colleagues pitching like a pro for the Canadian Baseball League.
Angie Hill from Bounce Radio threw the first pitch last night at the Kitchener Panthers game.
Good form. Signer up, dead center. Angie Hill, let's hear it for Angie Hill from Bounce, 99.5.
Nice job, Ange, at Jack Couch Park last night. The Panthers unfortunately fell 12-5 to the Hamilton Cardinals. The Panthers play in London tonight, and then they're going to host the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers Sunday for Country Day. Now, I know you're a pretty good baseball player, aren't you?
No.
What? What?
I have played one season of slow pitch, and it was so much fun, but I would hardly call myself good.
Well, where did you play in the outfield?
Where they pointed to.
Where they pointed to.
If that doesn't tell you all you need to know, Tony.
I am so sorry. I thought I was opening up a much more fascinating conversation, but as we roll credits, we'll remind you Ashley is a hockey star.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I am going to do a baseball getting in the game segment this summer for our 5 p.m. program. So
amazing.
Hopefully my skill set will be improving in the near future on that front.
Do you know what used to happen to me during baseball? Because it was a unit in phys ed for a little while. When it came time to pick where were you going to be in the outfield, I always picked center field.
Yes.
Because I thought there was the least possible chance that a ball was going to come my way.
And how did that work out?
It always happened that somebody did like a home run or a grand slam, and I was stuck there trying to deal with skills that I didn't have.
Well, I'm sure you were better than you giving yourself credit to.
That's our time. Thanks so much for checking in with us. Alexandra's here at 11:30. Have a great weekend.